Let's switch to the question of user-generated content and how valuable that is. A lot of the organizations here do call-outs. Jeff, you guys are allowing people to upload into CMS. What do you find how user-generated being brought in from a sort of a publishing standpoint? Is that much of the mix, or what's going on there?
I think it's a small minority of the mix today. I think that a lot of organizations are still exploring how to make the most of it. I think a lot of people have run experiments, and the results of those experiments have been mixed as it relates to news content. It's not a technological problem. It's really an editorial problem to actually sift through all of the content, find something of value, surface that up, and then gather an audience around it in a short period of time. That requires a fair amount of resources and a scale of operation I think a lot of organizations don't have. But I'd love to get an update from some of the people in the room.
We do call-outs for user-generated content around specific topics. We haven't. I think part of it is what the expectation is. Like CNN, people know iReports. They know to go there. They know to upload their content. A place like the New York Times, people don't. We've tried to kind of raise that expectation. We haven't had great success. We had great success with snow videos, but we've actually done much better with photo than with actually video. And I also think it's for news events. Unless how many people are actually at the news event? You have to have great if in Egypt right now, if all those people with cell phones and cell phone cameras could upload to our site, that would be great. But a lot of the times that isn't what's going on. It's people don't have access to that. So I think it depends on the event, but I think it is partly just the expectation of the users on the site and whether they're going to then go and upload video from your site.
Yep. There's a lot of reporting to be done on user-generated content sites that are not within, our newsroom proper, right? If you look at what's going on YouTube, it can be difficult to figure out sort of what a picture means, but it might still be posted in any number of live blogs or on sort of our breaking news site. So sort of trying to figure out to vet what content is, the authorship of it, and what it means is that's user-generated content. It just wasn't necessarily generated for your site. And I think there's value that we add every day in that regard by, we like messaging people via their YouTube handle and saying, hey, what's going on? During the Iran protests, figuring out that where pictures were coming from out of a sympathetic sort of web guy in Amsterdam out of the protest. So I think whether it's on your site proper or whether it's just in the ecosystem of this great deal of content, often confusing to sift through, I think we can add a lot to video reporting.
We acquired some citizen video of a guy getting shot in Egypt last week, and it just went viral.
Tell us about vetting that, how that worked.
Well, we were fortunate because we had a couple of reporters at this protest. It was one of the beginning protests, and it was getting pretty violent, and just sort of this guy was randomly shot. And so our reporter was there and was obviously and witnessed it, so it was therefore very easy for us. But that is the big challenge, is vetting this stuff. A few years ago, we had a tornado chaser, and we've used this guy for years, and he sends us this, the AP reports a tornado touchdown in this town. He contacts us, says, I have video of that tornado. He sends it to us, and we posted it. And so this is like somebody we've trusted. Now, this might be an extreme example, but it sort of is a gut check, too. Well, he photoshopped another tornado. Brilliantly. It looked good, but people recognized it. Other tornado chasers recognized it. So that was something that for us was just a real challenge. And I know Mike. You guys are.
Yeah.
You're the
so,
experts at it.
Well, thank you. I don't know if we're the experts. I think we've been at it for a while. So user-generated content, we could do an entire panel on, and we could talk about all the levels of issues when it comes to how to do it and do you have the scale to do it. But I think it goes back to why are you doing it? And if you're doing it just to get a great piece of video for your show or your website, I would say that's the wrong attitude to take. You have to do it with the idea that you're going to build a community. And these are people that love your brand, right? They're coming to you because they love your brand. We at iReport have been building this for years, and we have over 700,000 registered iReporters. So if you were to look at the numbers that we just recently got with Egypt, I think we probably got about I think, similar, like 500 so things uploaded, we probably vetted about 40 of them. I know we vetted about 40 of them. And that number seems low when you think about like all the content that's out there, but that's 40 pieces of content from people who are passionately trying to get their stuff to CNN. And so I would say that, you really have to look at it that way, that these are folks that want to share their stuff with CNN, that are passionate about getting the word out. You overcome the issues of vetting. You have to deal with them, and you deal with fakes, and you deal with all that stuff. One thing about scale is that if we were to build a team, we have an iReport team, which is about, I think, 8 people. If you were to let that one team vet everything, they would go crazy. So what you have to do is scale it, and you have to get almost every producer in the organization to say, you can do this. You can vet. We will teach you, we'll give you the tools. And so that's what we do. So basically you have folks on our international side, you have folks on our domestic side, and they can do the vetting. But I think it's important to the brand that we can do that, because then we have this sort of passionate audience that comes to expect it from us. It's a long answer, I'm sorry.
That's good. Anybody else on UGC?
I was just going to say, it's a little, maybe it was a long answer, but it was a good answer. I think that's kind of what all of the opportunity is for all of these discussion points here, is that this isn't a one-way communication. I mean, we all know that now, but it doesn't hurt to say it over and over again, that everything that we do from a content perspective, from a site design perspective, is to build a community of people who want to engage with the content that you produce. We are storytellers. We tell good stories. We go live sometimes. We do breaking news sometimes. But honestly, it's about getting the content out there, whether it's raw video or whether it's from an anchor or a reporter who's putting a package together that is specifically for the web. It's all part of a way to reach that community, engage them at a higher level, and then get them to give you feedback. And that kind of user-generated content is very valuable. Whether it doesn't always have to be stills or actual video clips. It can be comments or recommendations or engagement at any level can be profound, I think, and is part of why we're seeing success and going to build on that success across all of these different organizations.